You probably know this. I don't know whether when you started working at the school district, they told you what to do if you ever get hurt at work. But I'm going to tell you what to do in case you get hurt at work. Or you know somebody who gets hurt at work and you can help them work through the process. Because workers' compensation law does not require your employer to tell you what you're supposed to do. They're not required to tell you what to do, and they're not required to tell you the truth about the system. So the first thing you got to do is you got to tell your supervisor. And I would like people to think about reporting any type of injury that happens. Even if you think you're not really hurt, you don't need to see a doctor, you don't always know what's going to happen with an injury. You don't always know that and I give the best example I can come up with is there was a secretary, she dropped something on the floor, she goes to pick it up, and she catches her finger on a staple that's stuck in the carpet. She winds up with a systemic blood infection in the hospital for 3 weeks. Now, there's no way she knew the second after she pricked her finger on that staple that was going to be a significant injury to her. And so what I tell folks is, don't decide for yourself whether it's an important injury. Report it, and if you never need to see the doctor, so what? If you never need to do anything more about it, so what? But oftentimes what happens is that an injury gets worse over the day or two that follows. It's often, or even that same day, but I can't tell you how many times that people will tell me, by the time I got home that night, or by the end of the night, my knee was swollen, like a basketball, or my back was in spasm. And so it's best if something happens, just report it. Just tell your supervisor, hey, I was just over there, I slipped on the floor, I wrenched my back, I'm okay. But I just wanted to tell you, because it might be that it's not for 5 or 6 hours or a couple days later that you realize, I really might have hurt myself. When you do report an injury, you want to make sure that you tell your supervisor it's because of something that happened to you at work. Right. Oftentimes someone will go to their supervisor and say, oh, my back is killing me, I got to go home. Oh, okay, well, let us know how you're doing. And that person will later say to me, well, I told them that I hurt my back at work. Oh, what did you say to them? I told them my back was killing me and I had to go home. Well, did you say it was because you've been lifting, you've been moving your classroom around and you've been lifting boxes all day? No, but they knew that. You gotta tell them. You gotta be specific that it was from something that happened at work. If you think you need medical treatment, you want to ask to see a workers' compensation doctor. You probably know that if you report an injury, you're required to treat with a workers' compensation doctor. Now you are required to treat for 90 days. So if you have a work injury, what should happen is that your supervisor should give you a list of approved workers' compensation doctors. There has to be 6 on the list. It's usually posted. Under the law, they're supposed to give it to you before you have an injury and after you have an injury. Sometimes you get it when you first go to work, and you don't even, you're looking at so many papers when you're, signing all the papers when you first start working someplace, that you may not even remember that you got that piece of paper. But ask to see a workers' compensation doctor. Ask for the panel list, or say, I'm going to go get a doctor off that list, and I'm going to make an appointment because I think I need to see somebody. And I say, even if you don't think you're going to miss time from work, report those injuries. Because you can have a medical claim. You can be covered under workers' compensation just for treatment. You never need to miss time from work, but just for treatment. You want to make sure to report those.